Hey everybody! Scientists have been exploring our planet for centuries. Yet it still holds many secrets and mysteries that cannot be solved or explained. Dozens of new artifacts of the ancient world fall into the hands of scientists each year. And every time someone tries to solve the riddles and find the right answers. At different times and in different parts of the planet, researchers continue to make discoveries connected by one thing only. They keep the secrets that humans are still unable to unravel. Tashtik culture existed in southern Siberia from the 2nd century BC to the 5th century AD. It was formed as a result of migrations. New groups got mixed with the descendants of Tatar culture. The funeral rites of the Tashtik culture were extremely diverse. People used to be buried in graves or stone crypts. One and the same grave could even contain cremated remains alongside those untouched by fire. Such a burial place is exactly what archaeologists discovered in 2020. A 3rd to 4th century pyre was covered with logs. The pyre contained the bones of 2 adults, both cremated and uncremated. Judging by the location of the cremated remains, they were placed inside a funeral doll, which didn't survive to this day. The unburned remains were out of anatomical order, while some of the bones were missing. Scientists excluded the possibility that the tomb had been looted and suggested that the bones were lost during the post-burial rite. This is suggested by sheep bones and a broken vessel found on the pyre. Apparently, when the body turned into ashes, the large bone was removed from the grave and the pyre was mothballed. Archaeologists also examined the burial doll discovered in the Oglokti burial complex back in 1969. It was in the grave under a woman's body. The doll was a hollow leather mannequin. Inside was grass and a leather case with burnt human bones. The doll was buried in a sheepskin coat and trousers, with a bow case, arrows, and miniature bridle and a whip. The skeletal remains inside the doll were fragments of burnt bones, ranging in size from a few millimeters to 16 centimeters. They belonged to a 20 to 45-year-old man. According to the archaeologists, this doll could have been created for the rituals that were carried out in the period between a person's death and their funeral. The mannequin was needed to replace the deceased person and stay among the living. The Orkney Islands are located in the northeast of Scotland. The climate is harsh there, and the wind never stops raging. The Orkney Islands were conquered by the Vikings at the end of the 1st millennium. In 2015, archaeologists from the British organization AOC Archaeology discovered a unique burial site on Papa Westray. It was 1,200 years old. Arrows, a bronze buckle, and a heavy sword were found in the burial. Viking swords didn't preserve well, and a total of about 30 of them were found. Approximately half of them were found in Norway, but there were also various finds in Ireland, Slovakia, Poland, and Russia. In order not to damage the unique find, it was extracted with the soil, and its study has been going on for 7 years. The find is being repeatedly x-rayed, and the earth is being carefully cleaned off. The first thing that caught the scientists' attention was the unusual position of the sword. The swords were most commonly placed near the body in the burial, with the tip pointing at the feet. However, in this case, the sword was laid directly on the body and its tip pointing to the chin. Mineralized organics were found on the surface of the sword, probably the scabbard. The only heavy sword so far was found back in the 1830s. The weapon rusted heavily during the time it lay in the ground. Its handle can only be seen on the X-rays. The oldest ink pen ever found in Ireland was discovered at the Cathar Cashel, a medieval stone ring fort in the Burren. The core of the dip pen is made of hollow bird bone, while the pen itself is made of bronze. It dates back to the 11th century, a time when literacy was rare and feathers were a more common tool even among the literate elite. The pen was found in an 11th century layer and consisted of a hollow bone cylinder with a copper alloy tip inserted into one end. The layer also contained other interesting artifacts, including a decorated gold band. Scientists called the discovery sensational, since ink pens of an earlier age were never found in Ireland. Scholars also point out that most of the evidence for early literacy in Ireland is associated with the church rather than secular society. Experts explained that such a pen was perfect for fine work, perhaps for drawing thin lines. Although church scribes copied and created all kinds of church texts, a secular scribe could also use such a pen to record family lineage or trade exchanges. Namibian diamond miners have stumbled upon the wreckage of a 500-year-old ship in the desert off of the coast. The Portuguese ship Bom Jesus, Good Jesus, disappeared in 1533 on its way to India. Found under a very impressive layer of sand, the ship rested on the site of an ancient man-made sea lagoon, which has now turned into a salt lake. In the ship's hold, they found gold and silver coins, as well as many elephant tusks. The total value of the goods is estimated at over $13 million. The ship was found by diamond miners after draining one of the salt lakes near the Skeleton Coast. Ships are found in these places once in a while, but the Portuguese cargo ship is the oldest of all that have ever been discovered, and the only one with such valuable cargo. Excavations that were carried out in the royal tombs of one of China's provinces gave scientists a rare find. Archaeologists found 2 bronze Buddha statues covered with gold. They're the oldest ones in China. One statue depicts Buddha Shakyamuni. The other one portrays 5 Dhyani Buddhas. Similar statues of religious significance have been found there. They dated back to the period of the 16 barbarian states, which is 200 years later than the new find. According to the preliminary results of sculptural characteristic studies, the analysis of the production process and the composition of the alloy, it can be concluded that 2 statues of the Gandhara style were made by local craftsmen. This is important for understanding how Buddhism was born and syncretized in China. The Shakyamuni Buddha statue is 10.5 centimeters high, with a base diameter of 4.7 centimeters, while the Dhyana Buddha is 15.8 centimeters high and 6.4 centimeters wide. In addition to these statues, many ceramics and other objects were found in the tombs. The inscription on one of the jars said, November 24th, the first year of the Yangji reign. This made it possible to date the burial at 158 AD. Well everybody, that's all for today. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.